This is Our View, brought to you by the people who work for you, the proud members of the Washington Federation of State Employees. The news lately has not been good for state employees, but it's far worse for those people who depend on state services. When these services go away, it can be inconvenience. But far worse, there will be cutbacks in services that families depend on just to stay afloat.
A lot of our programs at Ecology are funded through dedicated fees and accounts, but money is being transferred from those accounts to cover the general fund deficit. We're going to end up having to do things like slow down the water right permits that we give for wells. We're going to have to slow down the cleanup of Puget Sound that we're heavily engaged in.
So with these budget cuts, the people that are hurt are the children, the elderly, the developmentally disabled.
We regulate many of the wells and drinking water systems that people depend on for clean water. We regulate hospitals and healthcare facilities. We regulate healthcare professionals. So we're directly involved with your personal health and safety as a consumer.
People that have developmentally disabled adults that live in all these state institutions, including Rainier School where I work, have parents and families who got a personal commitment to take care of these people. Our family members are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. They entrusted us with the care of their family members. Our employees are highly educated, well-trained, and love and care about these people, and it would be a crime to close these institutions. We do a wonderful job. We're well-trained. We invest 40 hours a week with these people, and no one knows them any better than we do. And this is their home, and it's not fair to take away their home from them because of budget cuts.
The governor's budget proposes a cut in all moderate and low offender supervision levels, and that means a lot of people, thousands of offenders in the community with absolutely no supervision. I can't believe that our legislative session this is going to even propose that we have offenders in our communities unsupervised.
We've been requested to reduce our enrollment by approximately 40,000 members. We're at a time where there's already over 10,000 waiting to go onto the program. So this is a time when we need to increase the funding for basic health to maintain a healthy Washington.
If people lose their health insurance and we have all these people waiting for health insurance, they end up going to the emergency rooms, which ends up costing the state of Washington more in the long run.
We bring federal dollars into the state of Washington, and we are federally funded. So cuts in our agency hurt Washingtonians directly.
People who are trying to go back to school because they want to get a second career because they don't have their job anymore, and they're going to have to pay more for tuition. They're going to have less access to services, and so it's really going to hurt those in our community, the students who go to the community colleges. And these are working people who go back to school because they've lost their jobs. So I feel that the cuts are really going to hurt the citizens of Washington across the state.
Advocates for the poor arrived in Olympia attempting to remind our lawmakers not everyone they represent has adequate income. They see our three strikes law as something that is not lessen crime, but takes away funds that would help people out of poverty.
I'm here today with Justice Works, a criminal justice reform organization, and we're supporting statewide Poverty Action Network's agenda, and we're also here to advocate on a specific law, which is Washington's three strikes law needs reform. And first I'll explain a little bit about what's wrong with the law, and then describe why that's tied in with poverty issues and social and economic justice issues. Washington State the citizens of the state voted to implement three strikes in a ballot initiative back in 1994, and the promise was that we were going to put the most violent people away for life. Included in the list of most serious offenses, though, are some crimes that are less serious. Particularly, there's a bill this session to remove robbery too, and this was recommended by the Washington State Sentencing Guidelines Commission back in 2001. Robbery, too, is the most common conviction under the law, and it is an unarmed, no-injury crime with a standard sentence of 3 months to 7 years. So the most common cause for putting away people for life for a sentence of 777 years is a crime that is unarmed, no injury, and that the state's Sentencing Guidelines Commission said take this crime off the list. It's a relatively less serious crime. It's in the bottom quartile of seriousness. And it links in, smart sentencing links in with poverty reduction. When we have more people in prison than we need to protect public safety, what we're doing is spending a lot of money on policies that don't work to reduce crime, and we could be spending that money instead on addressing the root causes of crime and the root causes of poverty, which are interrelated. Well, Martin Luther King spoke of the triple evils of poverty, racism, and militarism. And this, as I explained, the issue does link in with poverty. It also links in with racism. Here in Washington State, we have a population that's about 3.5% black, and the Three Strikes population is 45% black. And what has happened is crimes that are associated with poverty and urban areas have been targeted and are the most common crimes under this law, rather than some of the more serious crimes that that are more consistent across race and income. And so we have, the state is underfunded, public defense is underfunded in the state, and we have this uniquely harsh punishment for crime that's associated with poverty. So it makes sense that poor people and people of color are disproportionately suffering from this law, and this is one of the reasons it needs to be fixed.
We're in a bad way in the state right now, and we're facing a lot of budget cuts, and they're being cut in the wrong places. So I'm here to make sure that people hear us, hear our concerns, and that people don't lose their homes, that people know that they qualify for basic food benefits and other benefits, and that our legislatures know that there is money to bring in for some funds like food stamps into this state.
When you visit our state capitol, visit the state's gift shop in the historic legislative building. You will find souvenirs and gifts of quality, many from Washington artists.
The Legislative Gift Center has all types of various merchandise that fits many different budgets, and our items here are mainly made in Washington. We have a lot of Washington artisans, and we also have a lot of items for our tourists along the lines of postcards and shot glasses and like that. So we have a multitude of product to fit many different needs. For instance, some of the products that are made here in Washington are Chuker cherries, which is over from Eastern Washington. We also have from right here in Olympia the Capital Blend coffee from Batdorf and Bronson. We also have various different types of chocolates and teas, and some other handmade products that range from honey to our Puyallup Fair scone mix and soups, and of course applets and cotlets and our fruit delights from Kashmir, Washington. And we also have here handmade scarves that are made from Port Hadlock, Washington. And we have various charm products that are made in Poulsbo, Washington. Over here we have some tiles that are made in Gig Harbor, Washington by an artist, Kate Larson. These are one of our most popular items, not only with our local Washingtonians, but also people throughout the United States and abroad. These travel all over America. We have jewelry here that is made from all of our local artisans, and they range from earrings to necklaces to bracelets, watches that are all unique pieces, handmade pieces. Now we have an example of another piece of art by a local artisan. This is Mark Ellinger of Glass Quest Blown Glass, and these are each unique handmade pieces of his that are just stunning pieces of blown glass that are very popular with us. If you're looking for items with our legislative theme, we have gift cards with the picture of the legislative dome. We also have wine, champagne glasses, and other barware. We also have items with our state seal on them that are also very popular. When you come to visit the Capitol, we would like you to come visit the Legislative Gift Center so that you can take home a piece of Washington with you. We'd like to thank you for coming to visit us, and we hope to see you soon. A
look at our union history, here's Ross Rieder.
Frances Perkins was born on the 10th of April, 1880. She was the daughter of an old Maine family whose concern always was to better the lot of working people. Frances Perkins was the first woman to hold a cabinet post in the United States government, appointed by Franklin Roosevelt at a time when women's place was generally in the home, the schoolroom, or the bedside. She served as Secretary of Labor from March 1933 to July 1945, longer than any other secretary. From the first, the appointment was controversial. The president of the American Federation of Labor declared that labor could never become reconciled to the selection of Frances Perkins, ignoring her record in the New York State Labor Department, where she had worked for 12 years, the last 4 as Chief Administrative Officer. Union leaders often opposed her because she was not a member of any union and because she introduced government regulation into areas formerly reserved for union management negotiation. And many in and out of unions opposed her because she was a woman. How dared this woman with a teenage daughter call herself Miss Perkins? Where was her husband? Why did he never appear? Her opponents easily made the question sinister. When whispering campaigns started a rumor that she was an immigrant from Russia with communist sympathies, a resolution for her impeachment was introduced in Congress. She had to defend herself before the House Judiciary Committee. She survived, though with reduced effectiveness. Personally, she was sustained throughout the ordeal by her religion, a determining influence in her life. Her first-hand experience with settlement work in Chicago and Philadelphia, and with such tragic events as the Triangle Factory fire in New York, shaped a conviction that she could best combat problems of poverty through public service. The programs that she pioneered and fought to see enacted into law, such as the Social Security Act and the minimum wage law, are among the most enduring achievements of the New Deal. Thus, her enthusiasm, ideas, and courage are a force in our lives today. Frances Perkins, first woman cabinet member in our national government. She was Secretary of Labor just a little longer than FDR was president. Miss Perkins, if I could find it, I'd lift my Knights of Labor stein to you.
This has been Our View, the television voice of Washington's working families, brought to you by the members of the Washington Federation of State Employees. We remind you, when you accept a paycheck for your hard work, you don't give up your rights. Thank you for watching.